Our next guest had a big win on Saturday against Viviane Araujo. She was a plus 160 betting underdog. She was able to rebound from her title fight loss back in June. She is Jessica Ai, who is kind enough to join us right now. Jessica, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Ariel?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for joining us, and congratulations on the win. Of course, I have to talk about the day before the fight and the weigh-ins. I know you were very upset about how that turned out. Could we start there? What happened there with the weight cut? First time in your career that you missed weight.
Yeah, it's definitely a first time for me. It was embarrassing. Obviously, you never like to miss weight. We were in communications with Ali and her camp the entire time. Unfortunately, we miscalculated my water load, and unfortunately, I'm a female, and my period happened this week, and it just was a recipe for disaster. Instead of compromising the fight, I contacted them and wanted to make things as right as I possibly could, and I forfeited up about 15 grand of my own money to make sure the fight happened, for everybody. I mean, it sucks because now, people are just going after me and saying all these things, and it really sucks. But I mean, I feel like I did a great job of putting things behind me and just going back to the fight.
At what point did you realize that this was going to be a problem, that you would have a lot of trouble making weight? At what point in the whole process?
Um, well, it really was once we got to the PI in the morning and we started going into the cut. We got about a pound off, and then my body just started to completely stop sweating. It was not letting go of water, and my body was just getting hot. And I think a lot of the when you know that your body's gonna hold water, you know how the weight cut instantly changes. I mean, I think a lot of fighters can relate, to that. When your body stops, it stops. That's it. There's no more. And it was probably about like 9 o'clock, and I wanted again to be 100% transparent and talk with the camp and offer her everything that I did.
And to show up, like that moment there, we just saw, you're putting your thumbs down. That's a tough moment, right? To know that it's not like you're a pound off and everyone's looking at you, and then the scrutiny that comes afterwards. What's going through your mind as you have to actually step on that scale?
It stings so bad because this, industry is so cutthroat, and like you can't have a bad moment, you can't make a mistake, you can't slip on the banana peel because they just treat you like crap. And I think as a parent, we can see in the video, I didn't come out of shape. Probably one of the best shape I've ever felt in my life. I mean, Bo Sandoval, I mean, Clint, Charles, everybody at the PI was just incredible. To me the entire time going up to it, and again, I was 100% in communications with them. We knew what was happening, and I accepted it. I wasn't gonna compromise the fight for not only for her, but she came all the way from Brazil, and again, I paid her. You know what I mean? She gets my money. She gets a piece of my earnings. I mean, I feel like they pay us to make weight. They want to see us have fun while we fight, so that's why they took my show money.
And of course, people weighing in afterwards. We saw the tweet there from Sajara Eubanks. What did you make of that?
That girl is just a terrible human being. I don't have any comment on her. I'm not going to give her any of my light of time right now with you and having such a great platform to talk about my life. We're not talking about starch. She's irrelevant. She
Okay,
always will be.
fair enough. Do you know how much you weighed on fight night? Like, did you check?
I was 141. I was no heavier than I normally am at 125. I actually, the last fight when I fought Valentina, I was 45.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I didn't weigh any more than I normally did. You know what I mean? I barely could even eat on Friday night. I felt so terrible. It was one of the worst experiences. I know the light I'm given in life to be able the platform I'm given, and anytime I'm unprofessional, my coaches were mad at me. I mean, it wasn't a good thing in that regard. I'm not proud of it. You know what I mean? I'm proud of my win. I'm proud I showcase things, right? Because we didn't go out there and just like it wasn't like I didn't showcase my kicks, my abilities, and show all the things that I've been working on that I said that I've been doing. Because I wanted to showcase a skill change in me, between moving, coming to the PI, changing camps. Like I wanted to show that I'm really trying to be a better fighter. And isn't that what it's about? Is every single time they see a better level of us?
I will be honest, I've been covering this sport a very long time, and you're certainly not the first female fighter to say that, for, health related reasons, you had a hard time making weight. It's just kind of the luck of the draw. I'm wondering if this has happened to you before and you've been able to overcome, because like I said, you've never missed weight before, but you've been doing this for a very long time. Have you ever been put in this position before?
So one of the things that we did a little bit different is water loading. I'm new to water loading. I never used to do it. I think that my body wasn't quite ready for it, for that weight cut. So no, I don't foresee this ever being a problem. Again, we're gonna work really hard. I'm gonna utilize my resources being with the PI and talk with them about it. I'm going in later today to get a workout in and again make sure I never have this problem again because I do eventually want to work my way back to the title. And I never want this to happen again. I try to let every time I make a mistake be my learning lesson. So, I think that one of the things I said post fight is I feel like I'm not the only person to miss. And I feel like the only thing that I can, kind of be okay with is that I know other great fighters in this sport have also suffered, this same type of defeat. So I want to make sure that I'm not too hard on myself, that it's not like this isn't something that I'm the only person that has ever done this.
So would it be fair to say you're going to stick around at 125?
Oh God, yeah, that's the perfect weight class for me. I think that we see that and it's always where I'm supposed to be. I don't walk that heavy. You know what I mean? I'm not that big of a girl. Like I miscalculated something. I made a terrible mistake and I paid 15 grand for it. So
After the win, very quickly after the win, Joanne Calderwood was tweeting about you. Seems like she's interested in that fight. Are you interested in it?
yeah, I mean, whatever Mick and Dana want to do. I feel bad that again I had to apologize to them for what had happened, but I'd like to see what happens with the winner of Katlyn and Valentina before we make that decision. But if it's me and JoJo, it's me and JoJo. I feel like she's been kind of barking at me when I see her at the PI. We have a fun little interaction always. I think she's a great girl for the sport. I think we've always kind of went back and forth. And look, I fight because it's fun, and I know the fans love it. I mean, if that's the fight that the fans want to see and the UFC wants to see, then again, I'll do it. I mean, hopefully, if they make sure that happens, I can do it back in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, you like that? March 28th?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice. It's so close. It's 2 hours from Cleveland, so
Right.
that would be sweet. But whatever the UFC decides, if they're like, hey, let's hold back. We'll wait to see what happens with the title fight, and then we get back there, or I fight JoJo. I mean, I'm open for all kinds of ideas.
So do you
I'm not
train?
a picky fighter. I feel like I've always said that. I'm not a picky fighter.
So are you like training right next to her at the PI? Because I know she spends a lot of time there as well.
We never train next to each other, but it's kind of cool. Like I see her in the PT room. She might have her phone in her hand, and there's normal conversation about life stuff, and I'll chime in, and she'll chime in. I mean, her boyfriend and coach John Wood is there all the time. Her manager is there all the time. I mean, it is what it is. I feel like I quit caring about what people possibly could know about me. I mean, what secrets do we all have in this sport? What, that we're all tough, we're all working hard. Like, I mean, it's all about practical application on fight night. If you can't stop it on fight night, it doesn't matter how much you try to warn yourself pre up to it. So I don't mind seeing her, but yeah, we're around each other all the time.
And
She
so
looks in really great shape too right now. She does. I think it's funny because she said don't go eat ice cream and afterwards and stuff like that. So I mean, I'm sure I'm going to go into the PI here in just a little bit. I'll probably see her and John.
yes, I saw that little zinger. For you, of course, the last time we saw you was back in Chicago, and you lost to Valentina, and it was a brutal knockout. It was it was tough to watch, right? I mean, it was just one of the more clean head kick knockouts that you'll ever see. How long did it take for you to get over that and to get back on the horse and start thinking about the comeback, considering the knockout itself, but also the stakes, right? You were fighting for your first UFC title.
Yeah, everybody's always like, it's such a brutal knockout. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. I feel like being a female, the way that females get knocked out, it makes it seem a little worse than what it really is. But it was a clean knockout. It was perfect. Valentina did incredible. I have seen her since. We have hugged it out. We've talked in the bathroom. It's very competitive nature in it, but I didn't go out there and I wasn't getting beat up. I think that that's a testament to myself. I think that a lot of things were happening going into the title fight. I had moved. I had a really bad back injury, and I want to put deuces up to all the people that are going to be like, oh, it's an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's the truth. I had 6 herniations in my back leading up to that fight. I did everything I possibly could to make sure I was healthy. And I went in that fight risking the fact that I wasn't going to be myself. And going into the fight, I was throwing some of the techniques. I was throwing these crazy right hands that weren't close enough. And, Valentina was able to time that with an incredible head kick. So I'm proud of her. She did a great job. She did exactly what she said she did with me. She studied her opponent. She seen that I love my right hand and throwing my overhand right, and she timed it and kicked me with it. It was incredible. But let's go back to the fact that it wasn't a 5-round pummeling. There was a lot of things in the fight that I wasn't doing that were my normal self, and I want to be able to showcase it. So, I mean, I guess really at this point, I just have to wait and see what the UFC wants to do, and we'll kind of go from there.
Did you take time off after the fight?
No, I went. Well, I mean, yes and no. I mean, I had the herniation, so we had to go through crazy rehab. The UFC basically asked me like, "Hey, look, we have 2 options. You can get back surgery, or you can do a rehab program." So Heather at the PI and Bo Sandoval basically were like, "Hey, give us a chance. Let's go back. Let's do, a 6-week rehab, reassess, and then see where we're at." And we had hiccups right before my birthday. We threw my back out in the middle of training. So really, we were originally offered this fight in October, but my back was still kind of on the edge. And it wasn't until about October that my back finally turned over. We were able to put all that time together, and Bo and Heather were both like, "I think you're good, girl. I think we're right on track." And we went into this camp with no back injury at all. I mean, 0 back injury. I mean, the herniations are never not going to be there. I always have to manage them. But they were pretty bad. I mean, they were really bad going into the Valentina fight. And it was definitely the first time I think I ever decided to take a fight because I knew that I could rebuild no matter the outcome of the fight. And I really needed the money.
Do you feel comfortable in Vegas now? You had the big life change, right? Leaving Ohio, coming to Vegas, changing everything around you. Do you feel like this is home? Do you feel like you're comfortable there?
Yeah, I do. I finally feel at home. I feel like my feet are grounded, and I feel like some really cool new things have been happening with me, and some new things that I have on the horizon that being out west has actually gave me. I got some TV opportunities and things that are going to be coming up very soon here in the spring, and it's exciting to be on this kind of side of the world. I think I'm putting myself in a position not only be a better fighter by utilizing the UFC Performance Institute, but also being so close to California where there's a lot of jobs in both the MMA industry as well as the TV industry. So I'm kind of excited to
Can you
see
give us a hint?
everybody.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be a really good dancer. You guys maybe get to see me dance live on TV.
What?
So,
like the dancing show?
I mean, we'll see. I'm not going to put too much out there, but,
Whoa.
I mean, I'm not a very good twerker, but I think I'm a good slow dancer.
Wow. How did this happen?
Well, I think a lot of people have seen that I had originally signed with Paradigm, which is, formerly known as like Audi, and those guys. We decided we weren't a really good fit after the Valentina fight, and those guys are incredible. But just what I'm looking for in the sense of management, I'm looking more for people in the movie industry, the television industry, more of someone an agent in that regard. And I found myself an incredible agent. Their name is Jeff and Jennifer. They work with a brand called Octagon. I think it's actually WME's #1 competitor.
Oh, nice.
But I most recently signed with them. I went up to Beverly Hills and signed with them, and we've got some really fun things on the horizon.
Wow. Okay, that's very. I mean, good for you. Well done. And I think people might think Octagon is like an MMA agency. It has nothing to do. I think it's with a K, right? That they spell it.
Yep.
Right.
That's true. I think they're actually big with ESPN.
Oh.
Are they one of your bosses?
No, they are not. But maybe you could put in a good word for me.
I might have to do that.
All right. Well, I'm very happy for you, Jessica. Well done. I know you were very upset about the weight cut and how that all, played out, but you got the victory. You had to give up your purse, and she accepted the fight. So that's just the way the sport goes sometimes. And looking forward to seeing what you do next year, in and out of the cage as well. After all the changes of this past year, always great to have you on the show. Thank you for doing it, Jessica.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
Hello, everyone. It's Ariel Helwani. I just came here to thank you for watching our ESPN YouTube channel. It's the best. You know what else is the best? The ESPN app. You can get highlights, analysis, all that stuff and more. And if you want premium content and live streaming sports, there's only one place for all of that. It's ESPN Plus.